Hey guys, I'm Nathalia.
And I'm Audrey.
And you're listening to the Talk Baby to Me podcast,
where we discuss everything parenthood.
From under the covers
to becoming mothers.
We will guide you through every step of the way. And I mean every step, especially the things that you didn't get to read in those cookie cutter pregnancy books.
We'll have you laughing and crying and everything in between.
Because at the end of the day, that is what motherhood is. And the best part,
we got to do it together.
And now we get to do it with you. Hey guys, it's Nathalia
and Audrey.
And our episode today will consist of all of the fourth trimester goods, the bads, and the ugly.
Yeah, you might notice this tone of voice because we're both kind of scared getting into it.
You know, it's one of those things that we're like, we're going to have to talk about it. Like we knew, like we
put
planned.
It off.
And we're like, no, maybe we could do a couple episodes before. And now it's like, okay, no, we said it. We decided we're going to do it. And I think the most important thing for both of us, I speak for both of us, but I know you can chime in. It's being able to share this experience and letting another mommy know that what she's going through is normal. And I wanted to preface that now because when you go into it, it is going to sound negative and there will be things that are not.
It's going to be uncomfortable, and everyone has a fourth trimester that is completely different. Mm-hmm. Honestly, completely different. I have two friends right now that I'm just talking back and forth to that just had babies like right in the beginning of July, and just, oh God, I'm already emotional. Just knowing the things that they're asking or saying, or the things that I'm asking and they're replying to, are the things that other moms did for me. And hearing their responses, my response now is you will get through it. You will. Mm-hmm. There is light at the end of the tunnel if that's what you're going through, mm-hmm. or any part of your day that's bad. Just know that it's just gonna get a little better.
And there's people who have a fourth trimester, and I
that's gold. Yeah. That's not even a fourth. You don't even recognize that it's a fourth trimester.
I mean, so let's get right into it.
Yeah. I think that you should start with this one because
Sure.
Yeah, not had a crazy one. Yeah.
Just kidding. Okay.
Shut.
No, I think we'll go into I just had the baby and I'm over the moon. We're at the hospital for 3 days. We leave. We get discharged on a Monday or Sunday. I can't remember. And we get home and my friend Anna was dog sitting and she set up this beautiful arrangement of flowers and fruits and balloons, and she just made the house look really pretty and smell really good. And we introduced Adrius by his little cap that he was wearing in the hospital for the 3 days to our dogs, Georgie and Kobe, by allowing them to smell him. And they got along right off the bat. So the best way that I can describe the next few weeks after I get home is I was on autopilot. I was on autopilot of who I was before becoming mom, and the idea of being a mom hadn't kicked in yet. What had kicked in was you have a baby and you need to keep that baby alive, and you need to keep that baby from crying, and you need to keep that baby fed, and you need to try and sleep. And I was literally robotic. It wasn't until, I don't know, maybe like a week or two. I think it was after I had a consultation with a doctor. Nope, I'm all over the place. First visit I had with the doctor was
6 weeks. It's usually 6 weeks after your doctor.
No. It was a 1 week visit after Edris was born to our pediatrician because they wanted to check his weight.
Yes.
So in the time before meeting our doctor, there was this pressure in my mind. All I knew was he has to make a certain weight, right? So babies are born, they're 7.1. Edris was 7.1. But immediately after, he loses weight. Why? Because he's no longer in my belly. He's no longer feeding off of my umbilical cord. He's just on his own, and he's adapting to world, right?
They're trying to they're trying to make you breastfeed and get all the colostrum to get a little bit of those nutrients and make him keep gaining weight.
Exactly. So I was having a hard time even being emotional. I was just being robotic, like I said. And I knew that I had to breastfeed. But I thought that breastfeeding was going to be natural to me. I never knew that there was complications with breastfeeding. No one had ever told me that.
You said this to me, by the way.
Yeah, because I just always thought, you have a baby, you breastfeed it.
Yeah, when you said that, and my biggest fear was not being able to breastfeed.
I could not even imagine that. Like, it did not come to my mind at all.
Yeah.
So, I had a very hard time. I was given a pump, or I purchased a pump because I don't know. I was on Amazon and I looked at other baby registries and I thought, okay, here's all the breast milk storage bags that you'll need. Here's the pumps. Here's this. And I had like everything as if I was going to produce gallons of milk. That's all I knew. I had no other thought in my mind. So I was very just distraught and disappointed when I couldn't even produce an ounce of milk. Like, I couldn't breastfeed from my left breast. I can only breastfeed from my right. My left breast had mastitis many times, like early on. And
the worst.
Oh my God, I'm saying it wrong. It was my right breast that I could breastfeed from, and it was not my left. No, I said it right. Oh my God, I'm just a mess. Okay.
You guys, this is a really hard trimester for Nat, so
yeah,
I'm assuming that they're seeing this. So yeah. I'm seeing it, and I'm trying to like hold back tears because I just know.
Yeah, bear with me. So I was right. It was my left. So my left breast was the only one I was able to breastfeed from, and my right breast didn't give in. So my right breast had mastitis many times. I couldn't understand what was going on. I honestly was just so oblivious to breastfeeding complications. I didn't know what mastitis was. I didn't know what was going on. I was so frustrated with myself, and my fiance would always try and just be like, it's okay, babe, look, you pumped out one ounce, we did it. Like, just being so supportive. And he was saying like, you could do it, but his words to me weren't, you can do it. It was, you're failing, you need to do this is what you're meant for. Why aren't you doing it? You're failing. You need to feed your child. We can't use formula. Every time he would talk and try and root for me, I heard different voices. I heard comments that were left on my page about how I needed to keep going and how breast was best. I heard nothing but negativity, and I know that now I can look back and say that it was obviously not him. He was doing his absolute best to support me. It was everything going on in my brain and my mind and in my own everything. So I obviously, being who I am, I Googled everything you could. I did the Haka pump. I did breast massages. I used all the Frida products to try and bring out the milk and try and guide it out. It would not work. Nothing was happening. I used the pump at every fucking level. The sound of that pump felt like the intro to every scary movie. Like, I remember hearing it, like, it was just daunting, and it scared me and it stressed me out, and it just gave me like
stress.
Yeah, just hearing it just made me feel like, fuck, here we go again, a reminder of how you can't fucking do it. So I sought out help. I went to a lactation consultant who was helpful but also very firm. Audrey was there, and she was like, you need to do this, you need to hold yourself upright, your posture is everything, you need to make sure he comes to you. Like, she grabbed his head and like latched him on, and like, she was doing it because I'm sure I was like the 12th 15th person she saw that day, but she wanted
that
to
day
tell
in terms of years. Think about this. Yes, I'm
sure she was just like, this is what you have to do, this is how it's gonna work. So she was very firm, and she was just like, this, and I was shocked because first I never had anybody touch Audrey the way she did. She just manhandled him. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Like, whoa. But she taught me a lot of things. Like, posture is important. Using the support, not of your own body, but of other, like a pillow, and like guiding him.
A boppy.
Love
my boppy.
So those things that I didn't know, because again, I didn't think that I needed to learn. Like, you just
thought it was literally something that your body should do naturally. There's not an issue.
And I was so busy preparing for all the other things that I just left that one out. So moving on a little bit quicker, I was able to breastfeed Edrius from my left breast for a little bit longer. And whenever I couldn't, because he had no issues latching on, it was just that he would still be hungry. He would cry and cry and cry. And so I would try my hardest to continue to pump with the right breast and get out as much milk as I could, but only like what was maybe half an ounce, or not even
nothing basically.
And so whenever he wasn't latched on, he would be sleeping or on like a bed, and then I would be pumping and pumping and pumping and trying and collecting ounces of like barely anything, and it just felt terrible. So within I started just giving him bottles, and it was because I needed to give him what I could so that I can keep pumping, because they were saying that the more that you keep pumping, the more chances that it could come out. So in the shower, I'm doing all the massaging, I'm drinking the lactation milks and the lactation shakes and the lactation teas and the everything that you need to do, and it just wouldn't work. And I won't get into more of this now, but I did develop something called breast plant illness, and I do feel that a lot of that had to do with the breast plant illness. And I do have implants. I've had them since I was 18 years old, and I got them done because of an accident that I was in when I was 15 years old. And I had a windshield wiper kind of dash into my right breast, and it stunted the growth of that breast. So I had a little bit of situation where I wasn't developing equally or evenly, and so I decided that I wanted to get my implants when I was 18. And I'll get more into that in another episode, but I feel like I did have complications because of the effects of the implants, and not saying that your case will be the same, but I did want to make sure that everyone knows that there was unknown reasons, but also I have a strong feeling that it had to do a lot with that.
Right.
So in the midst of the first month of having Edrius, I went through just so much stress and pressure that I put on myself, and judgment from outsiders and Instagram, and just.
And this is the breastfeeding journey on top of like literally just having a newborn, and not a lot of help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after I had Edrius, I went back to work after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So after 2 weeks, I went back into the office. I was going into the office 3 times a week. So I would pump, breastfeed, pump, go to the office, do what I can, rush home, pump, do all the things I could. Luckily, Mo was able to work from home at that time, so it really helped a lot. But like I said, when I was on autopilot, I could have stayed home. There's a lot of options for maternity leave, things that I didn't know about that I had to Google and find out way later, like a couple months ago. And like, I thought to myself, at the time, our company that I work for didn't have HR or anything like that. It was a startup, and so there wasn't really any resources to learn about maternity leave. But also, I didn't really want to not go back to work. I felt like that was my normal.
It's your identity.
Yeah, and so being out of work made me feel out of place and out of just weird, and I thought that that's what I needed to do to make myself feel like myself again. And that was the feeling of like, I don't know who I am right now, so I need to go know what I'm comfortable, go back to what I'm comfortable with. And so I'm having trouble breastfeeding. I'm still working, and we just had at work, we had like a new studio that we just got into, so there was a bunch of stuff going on, and it was right around holiday. And out of nowhere, I started to feel like rushes of like waves of tears just pour out of my eyes. Like, just, I could just be standing
Fell
there.
out, yeah.
And tears would just pour out of my eyes. And I would think of the most insane traumas I've ever experienced. I would think about all the traumas my mother experienced, my father. I would start thinking about things that I feel like I never healed in my past. And I found myself just sitting, staring blankly, crying. All the time. Every day. There was times where I was at the office and I would go to the bathroom and nobody would know. I would go to the bathroom and sob and then pat my eyes, cover my makeup, like fix myself up and go back out like nothing happened. And I didn't know at the time because I kept thinking it's hormones. It's baby blues. It's what they say women go through for about 2 weeks, and just your body getting back adjusted to, back to yourself, and also, lack of sleep.
Yeah.
So
Tell me what baby blues, because I was talking to you a little bit about this earlier, because I just wanted to preface it with, I didn't ever know the difference between baby blues and postpartum. So could you tell me what baby blues, like what you found out going to a doctor clinically?
Yeah. Well, I'd never went to a doctor, but I did talk to therapists, and I did read a lot, but I didn't physically go. I did a lot of Zoom. It was kind of like one of those things that I was like, I don't want to do it, because then it makes it real.
It makes it real. Yeah, no. First of all, that's why half this population of the U.S. doesn't go to, more than half, doesn't go to therapy, but we all need it.
Yeah, of course.
But yes, baby blues is
baby blues
different from postpartum. Let's just get that
postpartum
out
depression,
there.
baby blues. Yeah. So, baby blues is something that they describe, and this isn't, I'm not a doctor, it's just what I've learned.
Right.
Baby blues is something that happens, and it usually lasts about 2 weeks, where your hormones are getting adjusted. Obviously, you just had a baby, so you're not sleeping as much. So there's just a shift in your mood. A lot of times it could be frustration, it could be sadness, it could just be like your hormones are coming too. So it's just
your hormones are, and all those hormones that you all the extra hormones you had making a baby are leaving your body.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's of course going to be a shift. I mean, you've seen it when you take birth
literally
control.
we grew a fucking child.
Yes. You see it when you take birth control, or when you stop taking birth control, or a lot of things can impact your hormones, which then impact your mood. But postpartum depression is something that could actually be more severe.
Typically more severe.
Typically more severe. It lasts a little bit longer.
And it's and something that you actually might not experience until up to like a year after the baby's born is something I understand. So
it could, that's the thing about depression. It can, we're not doctors. We are literally just saying how we know about something. I'm just trying to, because we mentioned baby blues, to let the audience know this, but, we can just go back to you crying in the bathroom and thinking it's fine, this is going to go away, because this is what every new mom experiences this. Yeah, I've had a history of depression in my past, in my early teens through.
I'm a depressive person. I get it. Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've experienced depression, but in different ways, and I hadn't felt depressed in a while, like years. I feel like I overcame it. I felt like I was okay, like I'm strong. I journaled, exercised, did all the things. I'm good.
Even if you're not strong, it's an actual condition too. Like,
no, I know, but that's just how I felt.
Yeah,
those are my feelings, and I felt strong. So it's like, when I got out of the bathroom, or whenever I would cry and have those episodes, I would always just try and shake it off. And my mindset was always a little bit stronger than that, right? I would always feel like, stop it, shake it off. And I would kind of be a little bit hurtful to myself whenever I kept falling into those moods. I would be like, stop, get it together. You have a baby that you need to take care of. Again, I'm still referring to my son as a baby that I have to take care of. I still have not clicked that I'm a mom. Okay. So it all comes to like this weird timeline that's not linear. It's just, there's all these things going on in my mind. And I don't think I have depression yet. I think I'm just going through baby blues. And then there's a couple times where I would post on my Instagram where I would listen to music and just be like dancing and smiling and then like crying. And I would post about it because I connected with a lot of mommies on Instagram, and I thought, okay, somebody must have gone through this. And sure enough, a lot of women did. And that's when someone was like, you should check into it because you've been feeling like this for a while. You might have postpartum depression. So when I did, I didn't want to admit it because of who I am as a person. But I started having really bad thoughts. Like, just terrible thoughts, you know? And I wasn't really, like, aware that I was a mom. I couldn't... Sorry.
If you need to take a break, we can take a break.
I couldn't, like, I couldn't do anything without thinking of how much I was failing. I would pretend I was fine. I would post videos of Edrius and make up this fairy tale of what I thought pregnancy was and what having a baby was. And I would post all these beautiful things, but I didn't feel that. So I felt like I was being fake. I felt like I was lying to everybody that I confided in on my social media pages. I felt like I was lying to my family. Felt like I was lying to my fiance. I wasn't happy. And ultimately I decided that I was going to have to give Edrius formula, which was so hard because I wanted to breastfeed and I wanted to feel that connection with him. And I kept, like I said, reliving all the comments of how breast was best and that if I gave it up that I was failing, or that my bond with my son would never be as strong, and that, you know, just all these fucking negative things that it really sucks that people are like that.
I hate it.
But Mo, my fiance, supported it, and he was like, of course, like whatever you, but it was really hard for me to even tell him that. And after I stopped and I switched, I was able to go out again and drink and do all the things. And so I fell into this really dark hole of drinking and suppressing my emotions and sucking in all the fakeness of what motherhood in my mind was gonna, like, I was just fucked up. Like, if you look back at that time, like, you would never know.
No, I mean, I knew only after a while. Actually, me and Nat formed the way that we are friends now is because of this time period in our life. Like, our pregnancy was a thing.
Yeah.
But it was learning each other and like learning to get to know each other, but also, like, you know, you don't know each other, but we didn't really learn each other till we went through not the same hardships, but this hardship. This is the time that I got to know Nat.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I didn't know until we talked about it, which was not too far into it, but far enough.
Yeah. And I would do the worst thing, the things that you're not supposed to do. Like, go out and drink and then forget. And then I'd come home and Mo, I'm just going to say right now, he's a fucking angel. Okay. Straight up. Because no matter what I went through, no matter what I did, no matter how I came home, no matter what argument I started or how I yelled or whatever I said or the mean names and the things that I did, he always knew that the real me didn't want to be in that place. He was able to see past the depression, the anger, the rage, the postpartum anxiety, postpartum stress, like postpartum rage. It wasn't me. It was a result of all of the traumas I've gone through my entire life, all of what I created in my own mind, all of the history of depression. It was all of this resurfacing, and it was triggered by the fact that I failed at something that I was meant to do, and I beat myself up for it.
And something, because you're such a prepared person, the thing you didn't prepare yourself for it.
It was so blindsiding. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even tell you when I say that I was so oblivious, or I just didn't even think about it like
It's
that.
like not in your vocabulary.
No,
to
everyone I
not-
know breastfed. My mom, my sister, my cousin, my everybody.
And
so,
as we all know, you are the most, like, you achieve everything you set your mind to. So I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine, to be honest, but I can see the pain. So
it definitely messed me up. And I ended up coming to a realization that I was depressed, and I had a lot of other things that were messing with me that were like family issues and just like different stresses. And I decided that I needed to fix it.
yeah.
And so I started working out again. I started just doing the things that I needed to do and talking a lot with Mo, who essentially was my therapist.
And me.
And you and my friends. And I just did what I've done before to overcome depression, and it helped. Everyone is different. If you ever do feel that you are in a place where there are negative thoughts in your mind, you're not connecting with your baby, or you're not connecting to yourself, or you're having thoughts where you just are not feeling anything at all, definitely seek help. There's a lot of resources online. There are a lot of people you can confide in. There's even free therapy on different platforms that you can sign up for, no cost. And meditation, reading, journaling, audibles. I didn't have time to read, obviously, but Audible, working out or getting into whatever made you happy, whatever makes you feel better. I have always been an Arbonne girl. And so like I followed like a 30-day healthy living, program where I was drinking teas to detox, and I was making smoothies, and I got into cooking. Like I started cooking like I'm some sort of fucking chef. I loved it. I felt like I fell into loving this like healthy lifestyle that I didn't drink. I drank all the water that you can think of. I felt like I was coming to myself. I lost a lot of my baby weight. And I overcame that hump. And that's just that one part of the 4th trimester. So outside of all the emotional things, there's baby, Adrius, who I finally realized
Was Adrius.
was my baby, and I'm his mom. And I think that was when I started to feel I was meant to be a mom. I was meant for this. And I fell in love with motherhood and my son more than ever. And we started doing all these cute things. He's starting to crawl. He's starting to take photos with me. We're doing self-tapes together. And I definitely didn't get too into it. But, the first months and the first few months are always going to be a little bit more difficult, just on trying to adjust to like this baby who needs to eat, sleep, diaper changes, all the things. I started to realize that what I put on my registry I didn't fucking need at all.
Oh my God, I have so many comments on that.
And all the money that we spent could have probably been saved.
But you know what?
College fund.
It's a first baby too. Like that's an important. It's
Yeah.
your first baby.
It was my first
no
baby.
one know. Like,
which now I have a massive list of what you really fucking need. So hit me up if you want it. Sorry, I'm trying to like, what was it called? Levity? Trying to make this.
she's trying to literally amp up the game right now and make us not as emotional as we are. But I think, okay, so there's a lot to do with the 4th trimester, and that is just heavy. It's just a very big, heavy part of it. And then there's so much more that I know you want to say, but I'm going to go ahead and get into my parts. about this, and maybe we could do another episode on our own, because I feel like our 4th trimester was like a whole year. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. Like
there's there's a lot. Like there's emotionally just changes in your life. Not physically.
Your routine
physically. Oh my God, I didn't even touch on that.
Yeah. So we'll touch on each other. We will touch on this subject, on each other's subject.
Yeah, earlier I was like, we're gonna have.
Okay, we're lightening it up in here, people.
Shit. We're gonna have her on us.
Yeah.
I meant to say we're gonna have her on our podcast.
Like our birth stories, this is not rainbows and butterflies, but I will say mine is much lighter than Nat's. I'm glad she's laughing right now. Please keep laughing. That was heavy, and there's so many. If you, exactly what Nat just said, there's so many different signs of postpartum depression, and it is not abnormal. You are not you're not by yourself. You're not alone. Like, it is so normal, but it was so not socially acceptable. And as much as I hate social media, and I don't hate it, but I hate certain aspects of it, that is kind of a really good thing that came out of it for you, because although all those things made you hurt, like all the comments, you also found out what was happening, and it's now being a little more accepted because people are showing their true colors. So
I want to add to that. Like, a lot of times you've seen, I'll like ignore a comment, or I'll like say something diplomatic back.
I don't know how. I'm like, be like,
yeah, and but then I'm like, now if it's also because a lot of people are just not, I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but they're just not smart, or they're not aware of something, or they're not educated on it, or they don't have any knowledge. So their comments come from a place of just saying things because they can behind a screen.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that those words are can actually be daggers to another's pain points.
They could be literally the words that make someone kill themselves or kill their baby. I mean, in all senses, it could be whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
and it's when you say it out loud, it's scary and weird, and fucking you don't want to hear it, of course, but it's true. There's power in those words, and there's power and pain in the words that you use and tell other people. And so just, if you see someone say something back. Like, tell them,
or say something doubly upbringing, or
report the comment. Like, one of the things is, like, we could also report comments. Like, I mean, I do my best to delete things just because I don't want it living there. I don't want to give it the power of just existing on my page. Right. But like, a lot of times, like I said, we just forgot that those words hurt. And before you're getting into your story, there's one little thing that I was going to say about postpartum depression and postpartum blues and the signs.
Baby blues.
I think that there's a huge difference between the two, because when you wake up in the morning and you find no willpower to get up, or there's no desire, but it's all strenuous. It all feels like you're like
dreary.
Or it feels like, I have to get up to go and feed this baby. Like, when you feel this almost like a weight on you to do the things that you know you have to do. For me, that was a massive sign. Everyone's different, but I'm a goer. And so when I started to feel like
it's a burden,
everything was a burden, and my mood and my actions reflected on it. Like, it was visible that I was just not myself. Those are things that are huge signs but you have to be able to identify them within yourself, and you have to, obviously, like, Mo and I didn't have family that was close by. We don't have a large support system except for our handful of friends that we can rely on. It feels very lonely if you don't have family around, which we didn't. It was just him and I. It was our little secret that I was going through this, because I didn't tell my mom, I didn't tell my dad. If they're probably listening, they're like, what? And that was my thing. It was like I couldn't talk about it with anybody. And also my friends that didn't have babies, most of them don't.
Yeah. It's like me, we talked about it, but I,
but even then,
had a baby.
Even then, it's like, let me bring my trauma and my psychoness to you. No, of course not. But after later on, we did talk more about it. But
also, you don't want to burden other people.
100%. So you tend to isolate yourself. Yeah. You tend to isolate yourself because you feel what you're feeling is a burden on other people. But if you take a step forward and try to talk to other people, it can be helpful. Those are little tidbits, and I can elaborate more on that later. But I just wanted to let, like what you were saying, moms,
just elaborate on it.
Yeah, that you're not alone. We tend to isolate ourselves. Friends.
And think you're not normal. That it's normal.
Yeah. But also friends, like friends of mommies, family of mommies, don't feel like they're too busy. Don't feel like your text won't mean a lot to them. Don't feel like you can't ask somebody to hang out who just had a baby because you think their hands are full. Even getting a text from a friend saying, hey, thinking about you, do you want food? Hey, thinking about you, do you want to go grab coffee? Hey, do you want to go take a walk with the baby in the stroller? I can come help you. Hey, let me come over and just wash the fucking dishes, like that you probably haven't done. Like things like that.
Well, and we're probably not ever going to say yes, so.
We probably won't. But just that like knowing that you're not alone goes so far.
And that you're not invisible.
You're not invisible. Just because you had a baby and everyone else is still thriving on brunch on Sunday out in freaking top-notch location, like, and you're just sitting there watching on your stories breastfeeding a baby. You're not alone.
Yeah.
And they're going to be at a baby. They're going to
be the baby stage, and you're going to need to be that person, that friend.
Yeah. So don't ever feel like you're alone. And if you do feel alone, you can DM me. I'll be there.
Or me, but only
we will be there.
Only nice things on mine. If you come to Nat, I will murder you. But, okay, so
thanks for letting me finish that little part.
Yes. That being said, my fourth trimester was different. There was a lot of things to it, but mine. First of all, we'll just start in the hospital. My hospital room was Cedars-Sinai, and I've told you guys, notoriously told you this in 2 episodes, that I hated my recovery room. My recovery room went from my birthing room was beautiful and all this, landscape that you could see out the windows. And then they immediately take you down with this newborn baby, this little alien thing, and DJ, my fiance.
I thought you were talking about
child.
DJ.
Yeah. By the way,
I'm just kidding, DJ. Love you.
Love you, mean it. The transfer just down, and the craziest part about this is, I'm not like one that does not like hospitals. I don't have like a fear of them. I wasn't like, it wasn't one of those things where, you walk in a hospital and you would think of your grandmother dying or something. DJ had double jaw surgery a few years ago at this point, and he was in the same, I don't know if it was the same room, but it was the same layout. So one of the corner rooms in the same ward as where I was transferred to after. Oof. I couldn't take his jaw surgery recovery because it was so dark, and he couldn't talk, he couldn't move anything. And that's terrible recovery. I don't know why I'm telling you this is a terrible recovery for him, because it was literally me with my torn vagina. So in the same room, but it was so depressing to me for that recovery. Then if you could imagine how it felt to have a baby that you're just put in a room with, and they tell you to sleep, 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 sleep. And all the nurses tell you you need to get your sleep. And then they literally come in your room every 2 seconds. Yeah. And you're like, okay, yeah, I did not sleep for like 3 days. I'm notorious for not sleeping as well. That's, my other
like insomnia.
I have terrible insomnia. I have terrible anxiety, and so that was that room was really hard. So Ella ended up being jaundiced. Everything was fine, especially after her really traumatic birth. but she didn't cry for like a full day, which is from the recovery of, I think, from sucking all the meconium, which I did not preface this to you guys last time, but meconium means shit. It means poop, like the baby's first poop. I kept saying it last episode and I was like, I don't think I said what it was, but that is what she had inhaled and into her lungs. So she was jaundiced, not from this, but we had to stay an extra day in this dungeon.
Recovery room. Dungeon.
The dungeon.
Oh, shit.
This is the dungeon. And I was just like kind of losing my mind at that point. My mom came, but in COVID, you could only have one person in your recovery. So I felt like she'd be a better support to me at this point than DJ. And so DJ came. My mom came. They switched out. And in this fourth trimester, in this afterbirth period, there's so much expected of you that you don't know. There's so much that they tell you to pack for the hospital, which I also just don't actually adhere to any. Like, you're such a prepared person. You do all of these things. I was like, ooh, I don't even know. So I packed all these things. I didn't use any of them, or like, at least 3/4 of them. And in this transitional space where you just gave birth to a baby, but you have zero idea what to do with it, and the nurses come in and they kind of teach you some things and then not. But me being me, knowing that I had all of these nieces and nephews, I thought, again, I could get it. But that part in that dungeon was like I think of it like it was so terrible to me. It was so terrible. Like the first time that I meet my baby, the first time that I heard her cry, the first time that like you, I don't know, the first time that you pee, the first time that you like are supposed to walk again after you birthed a baby, like it just was that part was so hard. And then all of a sudden it flies by, even though you haven't slept. And then you're told to go home and know how to take care of a baby, like, and you have no relationship with this little alien that came out of you, right? Like you're like, hey, we're meeting each other. Like, what's up? Peace. Like, like it is wild to me. So that part of this fourth trimester
that sticks out the most to you.
That sticks out so much, but what really stuck out was those baby blues. I was just like, I'm not going to get it. The breastfeeding thing came so easy to me. My nipples were so raw and hurt so bad. Shout out to one of my friends that just gave birth. She just, when I asked her how she was like, my nipples hurt so bad. They're torn so bad. I was like, you'll get through it. Like, but like, I'm now the mom that we're pumping me on. So
I do
that
remember
for
that
moms.
too. And there's like these like circle silver things that I remember opening and being like, the fuck do I do with this?
I was like all about that all natural cream.
Yeah, I used all those.
Also, caveat, like I'm still breastfeeding.
Yes, Audrey is still breastfeeding.
Still breastfeeding. I don't even know where this milk, I don't even feel it drop anymore. Like just the things you go through though in that fourth the right after birth, the milk dropping, all the things you forget about that no one tells you about is what I really wanted to touch base on. Like the lochia, right? The lochia, which is basically you bleed after birth forever. It felt like forever. Mine lasted 6 weeks until my first period came, and my period came even though I'm still breastfeeding. Guys, they tell you typically your period does not come until after you stop breastfeeding. Not this bitch, mine came. But the lochia is something that they also don't tell you about. It might not be for C-section babies, I'm not sure, but there's so many things. The breastfeeding, the nipples that hurt, the nurses taking you to the bathroom when you're first trying to
poop.
walk. Oh my God, the terrifying first shit. That's so terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that there's a lot of fear around it too. That like, well, from what I read, like, just wait, that's going to be weird. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to be scary. You're going to be hurting. So there's a lot of fear already. So one of the things I remember is like thinking, because I don't even remember having to use the restroom. By the way, I don't like poop talk.
For some reason, I remember it. So
I don't like poop talk. I don't like fart talk. I don't like any of that type of talk.
I don't typically love it, but after having a baby, I literally could give a fuck.
I think I blocked blocked all of that out because of how traumatizing it was.
Because you were not even mommy yet. You didn't feel mommy.
No.
Like you didn't like, you're just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, keep going.
I'm
sorry, I'm just like...
No, actually, I was kind of going on a tangent too, because when I was going through lochia and the period and the peeing and walking to the toilet and the panties that you have to wear forever, those are things that like no one talked to me about, and I thought I was very well prepared. And so we'll just start with the lochia. This blood that just literally drips out of your vagina. All this weird stuff comes out for literally, it could be up to 6 weeks. Mine went to 6 weeks, and then I got my period. I was not prepared for that because I'm a person that needs to work out. I need to move my body. I need to walk. I need to do yoga. I need to go to the gym. I couldn't put my pants on with it because it felt weird with the underwear that went with it. So there's all these things to it. Yeah. And to keep my sanity, I needed to be able to do those things with my body. So my first time then, like when I went home and I was like trying to rock Ella, and she's notorious for screaming. We literally call her Screams. It was so hard. It was such a hard job to like be your mom and not be able to take care of myself. Mm-hmm. And I vividly remember like my niece who was like my child forever, who I loved dearly. Something happened to her. Her mom died actually, and she did it as I was giving birth apparently, but they didn't want to tell me because I was so worried. And it was the first time I was like sitting in the chair with my baby like eating on me, and I couldn't be there for her, and I just broke down, and I was like blubbering, and I was just thinking, you don't even know what you're doing with this own baby, and now you can't take care of this person, and what if something happens here, but you can't even get up to walk. And like I just felt like the way I am is go in a different way. Like I need to again move my body, and because I couldn't use it the way I am normally used to, that caused a whole world of hurt for me. Yeah. Like in so many different ways. Like sorry. So I think that my baby blues was like a big thing for me in those first 2 weeks, and I was like I wasn't scared of getting postpartum depression.
But you had like a lot of outside reasons, like the death of your aunt.
Yeah, right? Well, her mom, you had
a death in the family, and then you also had not being able to do all that, and then not being able to move, and then raising a new baby, and then just
I thought my baby blues were gonna turn into postpartum depression. That was my worst fear. I thought like my baby blues are I'm gonna actually be postpartum depression. Like this is something that I feared the most. But the routine got to me. We became a unit. Like I started, trying to get her on like a sleeping routine, which never worked until 10 months. Changing diapers, sleeping. She never slept. So then, therefore, you're just really tired. So my 4th trimester just felt like, because I was so out of routine, it was just really harmful to myself, really. Like, it's so true when they say that you just kind of lose yourself in parenthood sometimes, and sometimes you gain it back, because at this point now Ella is going on 21 months. Ella and Audrey are going on 21 months, and I'm just now starting to find myself again. Even though like life is so overwhelming at this point, but at those moments I think it's so important for all the new moms that are just giving birth, all those things that no one told you. Like I remember looking up so many things and being like, why was this never said? And then someone else would be on like Reddit or something and be like, why did no one tell you this?
Yeah.
And I just think it's important that there's so many things that
like what you pack in your bag,
your hotel. Yeah.
I mean, when you pack in your bag, I remember packing so much shit.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even need.
I know
like,
you were
half of
actually
it.
texting me, and I was like, I didn't do any of that.
Yeah, I
didn't-
made like a whole video of like what's in my mommy bag.
I was like,
Yeah, and then of course, we somehow a part of the bag that said babies goodies or something, which had Edrius's onesies, wasn't in the fucking bag.
Yeah.
So Mo had to run to the nearest Target to buy a newborn onesie, find a way to get it like ready to wear.
Yeah.
And then that's what Edrius ended up wearing when we left the hospital. But it was like,
and the one thing that I did pack, I mean, I packed a couple things, but the two things I packed that were the most impactful on my postpartum was a button-down long sleeve nightshirt, like the Eberge. Love you, Eberge. That was amazing. And the Frida, the frozen, the cold.
yeah, the padsicles.
Oh my God, the padsicles are fucking lifesavers.
I can imagine. No, I think I packed these diapers. I packed these diapers that were for women, postpartum diapers. Okay, I actually didn't have a problem with them. I thought they were cute. I thought they were cozy. And
yeah, I would wear them all the time. That was great.
Yeah, those
They're
were so
like
cute.
mesh.
Yeah, I was like, yes. And then I was wearing sweatpants for like I don't know how long. But I didn't have Lokia, whatever the hell. That only lasted for like.
No, this was something else I wanted to say to you, to all of you.
I think it was like a couple days.
That was the other thing is I was small during pregnancy. I'm small. I was small during pregnancy, and I was just thinking I would totally lose this weight, which it did come off, but I had this Loki. I couldn't wear any of those clothes. Nat actually put on leggings. You like took a picture of leggings. I remember specifically telling you like, how are you doing that? Like I'm cringing thinking about that, just touching my vagina.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I like actually could cringe now thinking of the pain that I thought of that.
Right, because you
but this is why everything is so different, and that's what I was saying is in your postpartum, your fourth trimester, there's so many things no one tells you. If you are thinking, because a lot of mine was fear, like when the nun
okay.
the nurse would be like, you need to go to the bathroom. You have to go pee. You have to go pee. We need to see this first pee. Like all these things because they want to make sure you're not bleeding out and whatever. You can Google it, and I'm not the biggest fan of Googling things, but you can ask someone, you could talk to someone, because my biggest thing was like, is something wrong? Like, am I dying? This Lokia that's lasting forever. Blah, blah. I had you and my sister to go off of, and you were not like her, but she was like me, and there's so much more to this fourth. Like it's going to have to expand, especially because my postpartum developed later, and my breastfeeding journey had a part to do with that.
And it's still not done yet.
And it's still not done because I'm scared that it will come back, So my sister and I had you and my sister, and you didn't have the same symptoms I had, but my sister had some of the same symptoms I had. But then you only see your OB this one time 6 weeks after, and like, first of all, you're tired, you're parenting, you have the new alien in your life, and you don't have time to ask him all these questions. So
of course,
if you're fearing something, because that was my biggest thing, I think I thought everything was abnormal. Everything scared me. It is not abnormal to feel that scared.
Yeah.
And
write down your questions, and when you do get a chance to see your doctor, definitely have them written down, because I agree with you, and I went through the same thing, but it was not for my appointment. It was for Edrius's first appointment, when they told me that he wasn't making his weight and that he actually lost too much weight.
Yeah.
That pressure sucked, but I also left the house without the baby bag.
Yeah.
We were rushing. Our doctor's appointment was in Santa Monica. We lived in Larchmont, and we were rushing. I remember leaving in like a baggy t-shirt, sweatpants, all... what is the word?
Was all frazzled.
And I forgot the baby bag. And so when I got there, I was like, oh my
God. And they're like,
God.
put a new clean, fresh diaper. And you're like, how do you change that?
Luckily they did give me diapers. And I practiced changing diapers before. YouTube tutorials. Yes, I watch them. And yes, I practice with adults.
I actually changed dirty diapers of my nieces and nephews.
Yeah, I didn't have that. But yeah, so there's a lot of different things that we can touch base with, and I think that moving forward we can do a topic per podcast and go into it deeper, because there's there's just your emotional state, there's your physical state, there's your well-being, there's the adjusting to all the mommy responsibilities, the sleeping schedules, the diaper changes, the colors of the poop you have to be aware of.
The comparison
the
between
baby
mommy.
belly.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The belly button. I thought like
the line, linea negra.
Linea negra, like that didn't go away for a long time. There's the pressures from society of snapping back. There's like, oh, you're snapping back. Like, no, honey, I'm wearing a faja underneath this and I'm not snapping back. But because of the societal pressure to have to snap back, I'm sucking it all in for you because now I'm feeling insecure about
by
myself.
the way, I'm uncomfortable as shit.
Yeah. And you're like, I can't sit right. I remember also, adjusting to the belly, like.
Do you mean that's the skin? The excess skin, yeah.
Yeah. Like.
I know. And then
I've never had that in my life.
We got to 2 years and now I'm thinking about doing it again. So
yeah, she says she's having another bebe.
Not yet, guys. Not yet.
Yeah, but eventually.
Yeah. After this wedding.
Oh my Lord.
Okay, this was like a really sensitive topic.
I know.
I feel
We're
like
trying
it was
to make it
all
funny
over the place, and we're very sorry for kind of like taking you through our really crazy minds right now.
But you know what? That is again why we are Talk Baby to Me. We're gonna talk baby to you. It might not be linear. It might not be structured. It might be all over the place. But you'll get tidbits of information.
Might be frazzled.
Yeah, I might cry again, and we will dive deep. We will dive deeper into the fourth trimester and different topics and
breastfeeding all the way. We have to get into do have
that.
more breastfeeding topics
and there's the lactation
which is a
consultant
huge
coming
thing.
soon.
Yeah, it's a huge topic. So yes. Yeah. And with that being said, I think it's time to wrap it up.
We're wrapping it up.
So thanks for listening.
Thank you guys so much for listening. You can stay in touch with us on Instagram at TalkBabyToMePC and our YouTube at TalkBabyToMe Podcast.
And listen to us on Apple and Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Thank you.
Thanks.